Let's explore how to believably swap a real background for an AI-generated one using DaVinci Resolve Studio 19. Begin by navigating to the color page within your Resolve project to start the isolation process for your subject. Add a new node using Shift+S and immediately open the Magic Mask panel for subject selection. Magic Mask excels at quickly isolating subjects and even solid objects like a couch beneath them. In the settings, ensure the mode is set to better for the absolute cleanest matte detection possible. You should then lower the fine edge value to about 16 to prevent any overly sharp boundaries on the subject. Next, move to the window controls and carefully paint an outline that covers your main subject and any seated furniture. After painting, activate the highlight feature to clearly see the generated mask boundary on your footage. Utilize the track backwards and forwards controls because Magic Mask will automatically track the person throughout the entire clip. Review the track closely and use the negative fill picker tool to precisely subtract any stray spots that appear in unwanted areas. Retrack the clip after any corrections to ensure the mask holds perfectly from start to finish without any jumps. Once you are satisfied with the solid mask, return to the first frame and grab a still of the current node for export. Right-click the node, select Grab Still, and then export that still from the gallery as a JPEG file. This exported frame is the crucial starting point that we now move over to Photoshop for background generation. Opening the image in Photoshop is key because its Generative Fill feature matches subject lighting incredibly well. Matching the subject's lighting and color temperature is the #1 factor that prevents a composite from looking obviously fake. Use the Quick Selection tool to create a rough selection encompassing the subject and the chair you need to replace. Invert that selection so the background area is targeted, and then execute a command using the Generative Fill feature. As an example prompt, I typed in subway, but you can use anything like cozy coffee shop or sunny rooftop. Let Photoshop render a few options, then carefully choose the variation that best complements the existing light on your subject. After selecting the best background, tidy up your layers by merging any multiple layers created by the generative process into one flat image. If your goal is to remove the person from the original scene, select the subject again with the lasso tool. Run Generative Fill a second time using a simple prompt like remove to let Photoshop intelligently fill that area with matching texture. You might need a couple of iterations for the fill to look completely natural across the entire area. Export the cleaned up result as a high-quality PNG or JPEG, as this static image will be animated next. To create a convincing moving background, I rely on Runway's video generation tools for subtle motion. Head over to Runway, start a session, and upload the flattened background image you just saved. It is very important to select Static Camera under the Camera tab if your original footage was shot with a locked-off camera. Hit Generate and Runway will produce a subtle video loop or gentle movement based solely on your input image. Once the background video is ready, download it so we can bring it back into the editing environment. Return to DaVinci Resolve and prepare to rebuild the node structure for compositing the new background underneath the masked subject. Add a new node and then introduce a layer mixer node, which is perfect for combining multiple video inputs cleanly. Detach the default connections so you can rewire the system exactly how you need it for the final composite. Attach your original footage node, which contains the subject, and connect the Magic Mask node to control the matte. Import the Runway generated clip into the media pool and drag it onto the node graph to serve as the bottom background layer. To ensure the new background moves precisely with the original footage, find and apply the Match Move effect from the effects library. Open the match. Move controls and select two distinct high-contrast tracking points on the frame, tracking them both forward. This tracking step anchors the generated background, making any small camera movements appear perfectly natural. After tracking, toggle the Match Move controls to compositing to see how the layers blend together in real time. If you spot any slight ghosting around the subject, return to the Magic Mask settings and adjust the in-out ratio to tighten up the matte. Toggle off the highlight view to get a clear final preview of your completed believable composite shot. Sometimes, generated corners don't cover the frame perfectly, so use the position controls in Match Move to nudge or scale the background to hide gaps. Add one final corrector node after the layer mixer to perform micro tweaks, like adding a slight warm tint for perfect color harmony. Play back the final clip and observe how the mask, match move, and color grading create a truly convincing result. That's the core pipeline. Resolve Magic Mask, Photoshop Generative Fill for light, Runway to animate, then Resolve to composite. Now, let's talk about scaling. Turning that one great clip into dozens of shareable social shorts using Vizard. Instead of manually chopping that long take, you drop the full footage into Vizard and let its AI instantly find all the best highlights. The platform automatically creates multiple short versions optimized for every platform like Reels, Shorts, or TikTok for you. Compare this to the previous tools. Photoshop can't automate clipping, and Resolve's manual export for each short takes far too much time. Runway creates beautiful backgrounds but isn't built to manage the repetitive task of asset creation and distribution scheduling. Vizard fills this precise gap by taking the creative heavy liftings output and handling the high-volume content repurposing. The platform detects high engagement moments, trims and formats the clips, and even auto-schedules uploads based on your custom cadence. You can manage your entire posting strategy from Vizard's integrated content calendar, previewing and rescheduling as needed. For any creator aiming to scale output without hiring a dedicated editor, this automation is an absolute game changer. A practical tip for batch processing is to keep an organized folder structure for all your intermediate files. Properly organized files allow you to batch import into Vizard and auto-generate a whole week's worth of social content in under an hour. While Runway uses credits and Photoshop needs a subscription, Vizard is specifically priced and designed for creators needing consistent post volume. Vizard complements your high-end creative work by eliminating the tedious, repetitive editing and scheduling grind afterward. In summary, mask in Resolve, generate light-matched backgrounds in Photoshop, subtly animate in Runway, and perfect the composite in Resolve. Then, use Vizard to automatically convert that master workflow into scalable, platform-ready social content ready for deployment. There you have my complete pipeline for believable AI background replacement paired with instant massive content output. Let me know if you would like me to generate a downloadable checklist or an editable project template matching this exact node setup.